Persona 5 has so many memorable characters, whether it's a party member or just a random side character you can hang out with. That is why, in this video, I'm going to be telling you the worst to best confidants in Persona 5. Now, this video is more about just the character in general and the story of the confidant, not really the stats, since I don't really care too much about that. But, if you liked the video, leave a like, and if you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me if you did. Now, let us get on to the worst confidant in Persona 5. Now, I would say the worst character in Persona 5 is Oya. In my opinion, she is just a lame character and I don't really like hanging out with her too much in the game. I just do it just to get all the confidants maxed out, to be honest with you. All she really does is just drink, and I find it to be kind of annoying. That's kind of her main character trait, and that's really all there is to her character. She's just like, hey, what's up? Drink. Well, that was a nice conversation. Drink. For the next confidant on this list, I'm gonna put Shinya. The reason for this is because I find his confidant to be pretty boring in general. I mean, all it really is him just looking up to the Phantom Thieves and then how he has to defeat these bullies in his school. Like, it's all just kind of like a kid drama thing, and I don't really care for that too much. I'd rather just talk to other adults who actually have comprehensive minds. I did not say that right at all, but I don't care. And the main reason why he's also super low is not just the fact that he's a kid, that'd be kind of dumb. It's also just because he just makes fun of people because when he's better than them, and I find it to be kind of cringe. He's a very competitive spirit, and maybe that's good for him. Maybe that'll actually be beneficial for him later in his life, but I don't really care to see that, to be honest. I'd rather just go to the next one, to be honest. Reason why this is second to lowest is because it's kind of the same thing as Oya. I do this confidant just because I want to get all the confidants maxed. And I guess I know I'm not saying stats or anything, that's why he is super low, but his stats are pretty good, the benefits you get from his confidant. Another reason why you should do it, but like I said, no stats in this video. The next in line, I'm going to put Igor. In reality, he doesn't really have too much of a story to his confidant. It's more of just like, he just talks to you, he's like, oh, I want to see you go through this rehabilitation. And then he kind of just like, I don't know, ranks up, and that's about it. Kind of like how Kechi's confidant was in the original game, where he's like, I hate you, I hope you die. And you get the next confidant for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but I'm glad they changed the Kechi's confidant in this game. But we'll get to that later in the video. But the worst part, the reason why he is this low, the main reason why, is because he betrays me. I'm not staying for that. I trusted him with my life. Betrayed. Now, the next character I have on this list is Tora. He's not really that bad of a character, I just find him more boring, and just the overall story of this confidant to be not that great in general. All it is just you trying to help him get past his past trauma of people calling him no good Tora, so that he can be able to give his speeches more better in the future and have actual people vote for him rather than just them know him from his past and all that. But in reality, all the confidant is you just standing there listening to him doing political speeches, and I'm not really a political guy, so I don't really care about all that. I found it to be kind of boring, to be honest. I do like the character development in this though, how throughout the confidant he has people come up to him saying that they don't care about the past, and like how they actually just care about his speeches. He's giving good speeches. I do like how he actually is able to overcome the no good Tora, but this honestly just goes to show you how good the confidants are in this game, because even though I don't think this guy's really that bad of a character, he's still the lowest in the game. So this game has pretty good confidants, to be honest. The next in line I'm going to put is Haru. Not because of her confidant really is that bad per se, it's more of just her character in general. I feel like they didn't do everything they could have with this character. After her arc inside the main game against Okumura, I feel like they kind of just didn't do anything with her anymore. And plus, I guess her confidant was also not the greatest, it was just her trying to learn to garden and whatever. Maybe you'll like to do the gardening story, but I didn't find that to be interesting, to be honest. I really feel like in Royal, they should have added more scenes with Haru. They should have just done more with this character, but I think that she is just the most least cared for Phantom Thief, and it's more of the game's fault and not hers. If they showed her more, she probably would be higher up on the list, but she's just not. Now, the next character after Haru is going to be Mishima. Now wait, you may be wondering why Mishima is higher if you're a Mishima hater. But just because he goes through a whole character development arc, and I find it to be actually really good. Unlike Haru, she kind of just stays her one character personality the whole time, and that's about it. At least Mishima has his whole arc to himself that he can actually become a good character. But also the reason why he is this low is because of the pre-character development arc. I thought it was to be kind of dumb. He was just greedy, using the Phantom Thieves name to try to get girls for himself. It was dumb, but after his character development, he learns to actually use the name of the Phantom Thieves to actually spread awareness of the Phantom Thieves instead. He actually stopped being super greedy. And also, I like the scene of him making everyone's morale rise at the very end of the game. He has this whole speech of saying how good the Phantom Thieves are, and then everyone else gets riled up, and the meter for the Phantom Thieves website goes to 100%. I love that scene. I know it's just a basic friendship BS thing, but good scene. And since Mishima was the cause of that scene, that's why I had to put him high up, because he does have good moments in the game, unlike Haru, unfortunately. Now, I'm going to put Morgana next after Mishima, and I find him to be the worst animal party member throughout all 3 games, or at least 3, 4, and 5, just because I find it to be annoying at times, like how he always praises on, or whenever he knocks down an enemy, he has to say the same stupid remark every time.
It's almost scary how good I am. It's almost scary how good I am. It's almost scary how good I am.
And also how his main gimmick is that he just keeps trying to tell everyone that he's not a cat, and then he wants to be human all the time, and I don't know, I feel like he's not really that great of a person, to be honest. And the final thing, he causes the worst arc in the entire game. When he runs away after Ryuji says the same insults he has been saying the entire game, he then gets runaways, meets Haru, gets beat up, goes into the palace, meets with Haru, runs away in the mementos, yada yada, the whole worst part of the game, I feel like. And he was pretty much the main cause of it. I know you could say Ryuji also, I guess, was a part of it, but I feel like it was more Morgana's fault just for taking things personally, even though Ryuji's been saying the same things about the entire game, to be honest. Now, Morgana does get better after his whole arc of running away. I do find it that he becomes more accepting of things and actually becomes more of a better character and actually strategizes with Joker to catch Akechi and all this stuff. But it's pretty late in the game that he does get better, and that's why he is still super low on the list. But then again, unlike Haru, at least he has character development. Why did you give Haru not that much character development? She could have been a better character. The next in line is gotta be the Wardens. I like their whole story of how they have to find out who's actually the one who wrote the notes, which was themselves, and then how Igor actually like separated them. That's why they don't have memories of anything. But man, the way you do this Confidant is just so annoying that I have to put it this low. I hate having to fuse personas and having them have a certain skill just to give back to the Wardens. I was never able to do this on my own. I had to look it up every time because I didn't feel like doing every combination of persona until I finally figured out how to get this exact persona I needed. It was just super dumb and annoying, and that's honestly the main reason why they're super low. I like their whole story, but just make the Confidant easier to do or something. Have like a whole chart in the game how to make every persona. I hated having to look up every time just to complete one of their things. It was dumb. Now, from here on, I think that these Confidants are actually all really good, and I don't think any of these has like really any flaws to them. It's kind of just my personal opinion, to be honest. All before that, I guess the Warnings is also my personal opinion, to be honest. But in my opinion, before that was all like general stuff that I feel like everyone maybe can agree with. Probably not actually, but now here's where we get into the good list of the Confidants. And the first one is going to be Takemi. I think that she's honestly a pretty good character, and I like her whole Confidant story of how she was just trying to help her patients the best she can, and how when a little girl came into her clinic one day, she was actually able to treat her, but then the higher corporations gaslit her into making her think that she actually killed the little girl, but then you figure out that the little girl was actually fine and she rescued her. I just like this whole thing, how she really just wanted to help her patients, even though everyone was just calling her a horrible doctor. She was able to push through it and just be able to help patients, even though higher doctors were not. She was just better than every doctor around. They were all just jealous of her, I tell you. She was actually the best doctor in all of Shibuya. Now, the next one is going to be Kawakami. Her story is just really sad, and also it is nice how it turns out in the end. She thinks that she was the cause of one of her students' deaths just because of the student's parents made her think that way so they can extort her for money. I know this confidant could be kind of weird just because it's your teacher and she's in a maid outfit, you're inviting her to your house all the time and just giving her money. But when you figure out the reason as to why she's doing all this, I feel like it makes up for the whole thing. She needs to get money just so she can pay back the students' parents. But you're actually able to convince her to stop paying the parents because you realize that they are extorting her. You just gotta do your little Phantom Thieves push on the parents to stop the threshold of their angerment on this teacher. But I feel like the reason why this is like way higher up is because I feel like the teacher was able to make her own decision to try and actually stop paying the parents. She just needed the main character's help a little bit, but I feel like for the most part she was able to overcome all this herself, which I really like in characters. I like the character development aspects, and that is why she is higher up than all the other people. Now, I'm gonna put Hifumi up above Kawakami just because I like Hifumi's personality more, to be honest. I find it really funny how she just gets super like quirky and just gets really into it when she plays shogi. She thinks that the shogi pieces are actually like an army for her to command, and I just find that to be funny whenever you verse her in shogi. And then also her confidant just has like an actual story to it, where her mom was forcing her to play shogi just so she can get money out of it. So they were actually doing a whole behind the scenes thing where Hifumi was actually winning even though she wasn't really supposed to be, because the people she was fighting is actually better than her. So then when they actually do figure that out, they do the next match where it's actually a one-on-one pure normal game, and then she loses. Like I think she lost pretty badly too. I don't know, I find it just nice that she's just like a normal girl that plays shogi, and then even though they treat her like the best player, she actually isn't that good, but she still strives to get better, and I find that to be great. She overcomes the whole thing and she learns just to get past it, and it's honestly good. And for the next one, I'm going to put Chihaya. I'm sorry if I say the name wrong, I don't know. But I just like the whole idea of her confidant. You're trying to show her that you're actually able to defy fate, because her belief is that once the fate is there, it's like resolute, you're not able to change it at all. But with your power of the Phantom Thieves, and also I guess just your flat out charisma of talking to these people for some reason, you're able to change their fate entirely. I get it the first time when you change like the person's heart, why their whole like thing changed. But I don't know why Joker is saying like, oh, do this instead. It changes their whole fate. I guess maybe the fortune teller never even tried that at all. I don't know. It is also funny how she scams you out of 100,000 yen at the beginning of the Confidant. But the only reason why this is funny is because you do get your money back at the end. So if you didn't, then maybe she'll be low on the list. But at least she was nice enough to give you back the 100,000 yen. And that is why she is higher up on the list, because it has stuff to do with fate, and she's a nice person. We love nice people. The next person here is going to be Sai Nijima. I just really find it cool that, like, I know I've been saying this for a lot of the characters, but I think her character development is honestly just really good. Throughout the game, she's just trying to interrogate you, since she thinks that you're the one behind all the mass killings, or I guess not mass killings, but the mental shutdown. She's causing people to die. But throughout the story, she keeps going on your side more and more when she hears your story of the whole thing, and she starts believing you. And then when she fully believes you, she actually goes with your plan to give the phone to Akechi so that you can not die and get shot in the head. She would definitely be much lower if all she did was just interrogate you then leave. But the fact that she was actually able to side with you and actually go through her thoughts and listen to your story, unlike all the other cops, I just find it to be way better. Also, she does save your life, because there is an ending where when you rat out your teammate, she just leaves and then Akechi actually shoots you in the head, which I find to be pretty funny, but she's better because she saved your life. Anne is going to be the next person on this list because her confidant just really shows you how strong of a person she is. She is trying to cope with what happened to Shiho, and she is trying to make herself stronger. With all that going on, she is also trying to be a model, but is getting snuffed out due to the new girl pulling strings to get herself famous. And I just find it like amazing how she's able to do all this stuff while trying to cope. She's also going to be a model, and she's also trying to make herself stronger with her mind and mental. I know sometimes she's just being funny about it, but she has the heart and spirit for it. And then when you get to the end of the Confidant, she's actually able to get in good terms with the other model and is able to just 1v1 her instead of a model competition, and the cameramen were actually focusing on her because she clutched it up in the end. It's a good Confidant story all around, and I like the character development in it. Man, I just love these character developments, man. But it's pretty good. It's good. You gotta admit it's good. You gotta admit it's good character development. You gotta admit. Now, Sojo is going to be this high up just because of how much of a wholesome person he is. This Confidant, I feel like, is amazing. I love just going through it, just knowing how much Sojo just cares for Futaba and how much he'll go through just to have Futaba stay in his custody. He knows that Futaba's uncle was abusing her, so that's why the entire time he's trying his hardest to keep Futaba for himself and not have his uncle take her back, because he doesn't want to see her get abused. I mean, who does? That's just bad, seeing anyone get abused, to be honest. It's also nice just to see how much Futaba also likes Sojo at the same time. You can just tell that their bond is just the best and they both love each other, and it's just completely wholesome to watch the whole thing. And now Futaba is up next, and it's just great hanging out with Futaba as well. Her whole Confidant is just also wholesome, to be honest. You're just going out with her, trying to show her the world since she was cooped up in her room from her having PTSD from her mother dying and how everyone was treating her horribly. But you changing her heart, she was actually able to muster up the courage to go outside, and since she's with you, she feels much more comfortable. And I just find it to be amazing how much of like a wholesome girl Futaba is. And I kind of find it weird how she's a romance option, just because, I don't know, throughout the game I feel like she feels more of a younger sister than an actual romance option. But, I don't know, I feel like she's just not the romance option. But, she's a really wholesome girl and you must protect her with your life, just because of how wholesome. Now, Makoto is going to be pretty high up here, and this may just be biased because of how much I like Makoto, but just her Confidant in general is honestly amazing to watch, to be honest. Since she was the student council president, no one in school really wanted to hang out with her. But then, throughout this Confidant, you see how much she actually resonates with the girl that you're trying to save, which is also nice and just in general too, how she's trying to save this girl from losing money because her boyfriend is just extorting her of her own money just to get like whatever he wants to get. But it's nice to see that how much they connected with each other and how Makoto is finally able to make like a genuine friend for the first time, I guess besides the Phantom Thieves. Yeah, it's funny nice how Makoto was finally able to get a W for once in her life. It's just all around great, and Makoto is best girl and you can't tell me otherwise. Now the next one in line is going to be Yusuke. I just find this character to be so funny. Honestly, he is one of the only Confidants that actually made me laugh out loud. It was just an amazing Confidant. But the moment I'm talking about that made me laugh is when he wanted to do random poses in the church and was spouting nonsense. I don't know why, I just found this part to be so funny for some reason, and it was like one of the parts in the game that just made me laugh out loud. He's just a good Confidant. And also, I just find his chemistry with Futaba to be amazing. Like, when the two of them are talking, you know that it's going to be a good scene. They just like argue with each other and like make each other annoyed in such a perfect way. It's just amazing to watch. And also his other funny gimmick that he has, that he's always broke and he has to take money from other people. It's just, he's all around a fantastic character to be around. I don't know how you can hate Yusuke. He's just like one of the best characters in the game. Now, the next in line is going to be EY. This is like one of the Confidants that I actually played through that felt like it honestly should be a part of the main story, just how much convoluted and life-threatening scenarios you get into. Basically, throughout the Confidant, you go through like 2 life or death situations. One is where you're trying to meet up with a guy named Suda, and then he gets a gun pointed to him point blank. Like, and Joker's just there too. Like, you can die at any moment in this Confidant. You're actually like just dealing with Yakuza. And also his son gets captured and you try to rescue him in a very dangerous situation also. But good thing his son is a Giga Chad and just understands everything that his father's going through. And it's just amazing to see in general just how good the kid is, having a good relationship with his father. I don't know, I find that also just to be a good thing of this Confidant, just seeing the good chemistry between father and son. They weren't really on good terms before, but throughout the Confidant they get to know each other more, and then they become great at the end. It's honestly good. And now the next character is going to be Kasumi. I find this character to have such an interesting story, and that's why she is this far up. Her Confidant isn't really the greatest. Well, I guess it's just whatever. You're just hanging out with her and doing the gymnast stuff, and I don't really know. That part is just kind of whatever. But the reason she's this high up is just that her character itself is so interesting. When she was younger, her sister died because she protected her from getting run over by a car. And then since it was both of their dreams of becoming a gymnast, she was still trying to do it. But she was so in shock that her sister died, I think she kind of like gave up on it. So she went to Moruki, And Maruki was actually able to change her cognition, so she thinks that she is her sister, and she was actually able to get the determination to go through, become a gymnast again, because she didn't have any of her past emotions at all. This whole thing is just a crazy story, how she thinks that she's her sister who died, and I don't know, I find it to be so interesting. And Maruki's also just a very interesting character in general. That is why he's even higher up on the list, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But just this character, man, it just kind of sucks how she isn't even canon because she's a Royal character, and Royal isn't canon to the story of Persona. But I feel like she definitely should have been, just because of how interesting her whole story is, and even how the whole final arc of the game is just honestly crazy interesting. But it's not canon, so what can you do? Now, you guys may be wondering, where's Ryuji in this list? Well, he is right here, and the reason why he is so high up is just because he is such an amazing character. I think he is very funny in the story, and also just an amazing friend to everyone. The main part that really sells me on his character, and you can actually see how much he just loves everyone and wants to save their life, is the part in the 7th Palace at the very end. He actually was able to risk his own life just so the other party members can leave. He had no second thought, he just wanted to save the other party members so bad that he just went for it straight up. This was just such like a Chad move. I just like couldn't think of him as a good character after seeing that. Now the next moment I find very funny is actually not one from Persona 5. It's from Persona 5 Strikers. The moment that he says the F word is just so hilarious. In context, there was this character named Sophie that's new to the Strikers game, and there was like another robot that was making fun of Sophie, saying she was useless and all this stuff, and then Ryuji just went straight off on the other robot, and even got to a point where he just yelled the F word at her. That scene is just so funny. You should definitely watch it. It's so funny. It's hilarious. Especially knowing that Ryuji censors himself the whole game. But now it's just that he wanted to really show his emotion of how much he cares about this girl. He just says the F word straight up. It's great. Great scene. Poetic even. Now, the character that is going to be up and even next, the second to highest character, is going to be Dr. Maruki. Dude, this guy was able to change everyone's cognition into thinking that there was a whole separate world where everyone had like their best dreams come true. Just the power to change everyone's cognition, I find to be so cool. Also, his whole backstory is just pretty sad in general too. He rewrote the memories of his girlfriend because her parents died, but then in doing so, she forgot about her relationship with Maruki. When he realized the power that he had, he wanted to open up a clinic just so he can help other people, and I found it to be amazing. Sure, he was the final villain of the game, but just him having such a strong and clear motive for why he's doing everything is honestly the main reason why he is so hyped up. Oh, sorry about that. I hate the villains that all they try to do is just be like, oh, I want to destroy the world. Why? Oh, I don't know, it's kind of fun. I hate those people. But having an actual villain that has a true story, a full reason as to why he wants to change everyone, or just a reason for doing something, I just find it to be so much better. Like, I don't know why there's so much villains that just hate the world just because they just feel like destroying the world. But this one's actually good. And now, the final confidant that I haven't said yet, the one that's on the #1 list, I gotta give it to Akechi. Without a doubt, I can say that Akechi is just the best confidant in the game. I was so glad that in Royal they added a confidant to this character, just because of how great they were actually able to make the confidant. That is honestly one of Royal's best decisions, was giving Akechi his whole own confidant. The rivalry between the Akechi and the main character is just amazing. Also just the nice conversations that you have with him. Even the scene that you dress him up to make him look like yourself just so people won't recognize him. It's just all funny. It's like their whole chemistry together is just great. And also the moment that I find very funny is that you 1v1 him instead of mementos just to see who's the better one. And then you also hand him the glove at the end, which is so poetic. I guess I didn't mention that, but at the beginning you get the glove from him just to show that you guys are rivals. And then at the end you give his glove back to him. Oh, it's great. This is the only confidant in the game that you actually have to fight someone, and I honestly find it to be so cool. And then also how he says that he literally just hates the main character, like he just flat out just says it. I don't know, I find that line to be so cool. You just really see that he doesn't like the main character and how they have a whole rivalry between them, but in the end he also saves them inside the boat right before he dies. So it's like he does hate him, but he also wants to save him, and like, it's just so cool. I love Akechi. I think this character is just phenomenal. Well, with that being said, that's the end of the video. I wonder how you guys feel about my list of all the confidants in the game. Comment down below some things you would change, or maybe you won't change anything at all, because it's just a perfect list and no one can ever change my mind. This game, you probably could, but if you liked the video, leave a like, and if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me if you did. Now, I'm gonna go, do whatever.